All right, if you're an artist and you're trying to get an A&R rep's attention, you're going to want to listen to this. We're about to break down a strategy that completely flips the script on that whole idea of getting discovered. This right here, this is probably the single most important mindset shift you can possibly make. You have to forget this fantasy of being plucked from obscurity by some magical scout. The reality is way more strategic. It's all about building a track record that's just so strong, so undeniable, that it becomes impossible for them to ignore you. So to really get how to succeed today, we have to start by tearing down the one myth that holds so many artists back, and that's the myth of A&R discovery. For decades, we were all told this story that A&Rs were like treasure hunters, searching for raw, untapped potential. But the reality today, it couldn't be more different. They're not treasure hunters, they're data analysts. They're scouting for proven momentum. They're not looking for what could be, they're looking for proof of what is. When you believe in that old myth, it leads you right into these classic traps. Firing off desperate emails, asking for a deal on day one, having a brand that's all over the place. These tactics don't just scream amateur, they scream risk, and risk is an instant red flag in their world. Okay, so if all that stuff fails, what actually works? Well, it all starts with a huge shift in how you think. You have to stop thinking like an artist asking for a favor, and you have to start thinking like an A&R rep making a business decision. Here it is. This is the real job description for a modern A&R. It's not about vibes or finding some diamond in the rough. Nope, it's a business function, and it's focused on three key things: scouting momentum that already exists, filtering through mountains of data, and, above all else, reducing the label's financial risk. So these are the real questions being asked behind the scenes. They're not sitting around asking, is this song a hit? They're asking, is there an audience for this right now? Is this a sustainable business? Can this artist actually deliver again and again? You see the pattern, right? These are all business questions, not really artistic ones. And this is the bottom line, the most crucial point. Every single decision an A&R makes, it all boils down to managing risk. Signing an artist is a massive investment, so their job, their whole purpose, is to find the investment that's the most likely to pay off. And the best indicator of future success is always current momentum. Okay, so we get the mindset. Now, how do we actually turn that into action? Well, this is where something called the relationship funnel comes in. It's a step-by-step strategy for building industry connections the right way. Now, here's another huge reframe for you. Stop trying to get a deal with your first email. Just stop. Your only goal in the beginning is just to get on their radar in a professional way, so they actually start tracking your progress. You just want them to know your name, and then you've got to give them something to watch. And this is exactly how you do it. The relationship funnel. You start with awareness, just getting your name out there. Then you build familiarity through consistent professional updates. That leads to interest, where they start paying a little closer attention. Then comes engagement, evaluation, and only at the very, very end do you get to negotiation. And let me be clear, you absolutely cannot skip steps. Now, this funnel isn't some quick fix. It's the long game. So let's get into the nitty-gritty, the practical details of how you build that momentum to move through each one of these stages. So when you finally have a good reason to contact someone, this is the magic formula. It is so respectful of their time, and it's incredibly effective. One sentence to gently remind them who you are. One sentence to share a real, meaningful achievement, a milestone. And one link for them to check it out. That's it. Short, professional, and it's all about providing value. So what kind of milestones should you be sharing? You gotta focus on the proof signals that A&Rs actually care about. Forget all the vanity metrics like likes. They're looking for things like save rates, the number of repeat listeners, and actual ticket sales, metrics that show real, tangible audience engagement and growth. This is the language of momentum. And just as important are the red flags you have to avoid. Inconsistent releases, having a big ego with no data to back it up, complaining about the industry, all of these things just signal risk and unprofessionalism. Trust me, your behavior is being watched just as closely as your streaming numbers are. This, in a nutshell, is the watch list strategy. See, A&Rs literally maintain lists of artists they're tracking. Your job is to be so consistent with your music, your growth, and your professionalism that you become impossible to ignore, steadily just climbing your way up that list. When you play the long game correctly, something really amazing starts to happen. The entire power dynamic flips. You stop chasing them, and they start coming to you. This is what it truly means to be deal ready. It's not a status you ask for, it's a status you achieve. When you have a solid body of work, a brand that really connects, data that proves you have a real audience, and a track record of being a pro, you have leverage. You've basically de-risked the investment for the label. And that really is the central idea here. Stop chasing A&Rs. Focus all that energy on building something real, a growing fan base, a great catalog, a professional reputation. Because when you build undeniable momentum, believe me, the opportunities will find you. So I'll leave you with this question. Forget about getting signed for a second. Ask yourself this. What's one tangible piece of momentum you're going to build this month to get yourself on someone's watch list? Thanks so much for tuning in.